welcome to the Sacred Heart Coaches Show. I'm Evan Cormier, joined by head coach of the back-to-back defending NEC champion football team, Mark Nofri. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And let's start today with a little update on our favorite SHU alum, Josh Sokol, Julius Chestnut, where they're going in the future.
So they had their pro day about a week ago up at UConn, and the whole staff was there and some of their family, and they did really well. Their measurements and their testing was great. They're not giving us a lot of feedback other than they thought, according to the people up there and the player personnel, that they did a really good job. And they got a shot, and that's all you ask for, is that they get a shot and they can get into a camp and show their worth. And that's what you want, is you want to be able to get your foot in the door, get into a camp and show them that you belong. And once they do that, I got all the faith in those two that they'll do what they have to do to stick around. But I'm happy for them. They had a great time. They did well. They worked their butts off since December getting prepared for this day, and it showed. It showed what they did up there that day.
And how important is it for Sacred Heart to have recognition and representation at the next level?
Well, we haven't had anybody, I don't believe, in the NFL who actually stuck since John Cordell, which was 2006, 7, and 8. But it's huge. It's huge for your school. It's huge for the league. It's big for our program. I mean, it says a lot about the type of student athletes we're getting and developing. And, when you win, people come around and people take notice. And again, hopefully we continue to win and continue to develop that type of culture and that type of student athlete. And next year there'll be some more scouts coming by to see our next senior class. So I think it's big, and it goes a long way for your school and for your program in terms of the future and the type of student athlete you want to recruit here.
Losing two guys like that, 4 of your 5 captains from last year, who are you looking to fill their shoes and step up this season?
Well, we just finished spring ball, and we had our vote for captains for fall of 22, and DeAndre Bird is the returning captain. Malik Grant, Rob Denota, Frank Alfano, and Kevin Pepra will be our captains for next year, and I think they'll do an outstanding job. I mean, they're great kids. They do everything well on and off the field. They were voted and picked by their peers. So they're great kids. It's now time for them to take the step and be the leader of the program. They're not, freshman, sophomore anymore. They're junior, senior type kids, and Bird will be a graduate student. So, and same thing with Frank. He's a graduate student. So their time is now. I'm happy as those kids were picked, and I think they'll do a great job.
Speaking of spring ball, how did the offseason go? Recruiting, winter workouts, spring ball, stuff like that, all the works.
Well, I like where we're at right now. I think our coaches did an outstanding job finding the right student athlete that fits who we are in the program that we are and what we try and coach and teach and what we develop. We did have a class right now, roughly around 20 to 25 student athletes. We still got a few more holes we're trying to fill, but I like what we were able to bring in and get commitments from. Our off-season program started obviously January 15th with Coach V, and I think the kids understood. See, we haven't had an off-season program now in 2 years. Back in the spring of 20, we were shut down in March, and last year we were actually playing a spring season. So this is the first full year of a year-round commitment of football in terms of the practices, the strength and conditioning, the winter workouts, and then in the spring ball. I think it's been going great. We just finished spring ball on Saturday, so our student athletes and our team right now has roughly about 4 weeks left with Coach Fee before summertime, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to have our workouts in January, February. We started our spring ball February 28th. We were able to finish our spring game was April 2nd. Now they have 4 weeks with Coach Fee before they go home for the summer. And again, it's been going well, but again, we still have 4 weeks to finish, and I want to see the kids finish strong.
Coming off an off season like that and a decade of success, really, what are your expectations for your Sacred Heart Pioneers in the 2022 season?
Well, I expect us to win. I think everybody in our program understands the goals, and the bar's been raised the last 4 or 5 years. As a coach and as a player and as a competitor, you always want to have goals in terms of, obviously you want to have a winning season, but we have other goals that we want. It's a little bit higher. We want to win the NEC conference. We want to get back to the NCAA playoffs. We want to be able to win a first round playoff game. Those are goals that we set every year. And is it realistic? Sure it is. But a lot goes into it. And I think people need to understand that, it just doesn't happen from August to November. Like, it's a year-round commitment. Things got to go your way. You got to have a couple breaks. You got to stay healthy. You got to be clicking on all cylinders, in that mid to late October and be playing meaningful games in November. But our expectations as players and coaches is that we want to win and we want to defend the NEC championship.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. For head coach Mark Nofri, I've been Evan Cormier. Thank you for watching the Sacred Heart Coaches Show.